guys, welcome back. Same day, just later on. I'm working on this sign now. I put epoxy primer on it already because when I was primering the spots on the station wagon, I mixed up extra epoxy primer, and I went ahead and put a coat on this because when I sanded it down, I broke through to some bare metal here and there. So I went ahead and put it on both sides just to make sure there's no bare metal showing. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix up some black base coat, and we're going to shoot the back side of the sign. We're just going to put a couple light coats of black base coat on the back side of the sign. Now, then I am going to let it set for about an hour so that I could tape it off so that we could put the white on the lettering, let that dry for an hour, tape that off, then we can put the blue on the rest of the sign, untape it all, and clear it. Hopefully we don't get a bunch of overspray on the back side of the sign, but I think putting the black is definitely the way to go first, because if I did the black last, it would be a lot worse if I got black paint on the blue and the white on the front than it would to get a little bit of blue and white on the back. But hopefully I could tape it off fairly well and not have to worry about that. This is a 1-to-1 mix, 1 part paint, 1 part reducer. So we're just going to mix up a little bit here, go out there and put a coat on, a couple light coats on. We might just mist it enough to just do it all in 1 coat. We're going over gray. This stuff covers pretty good, so let's see what happens. And then, like I said, I'm going to let it set for a good hour. It's probably 6 o'clock at night right now, somewhere in that area. I'll probably let it set till 7. I don't know if I'll have this done tonight. I might have to pick it up, back up tomorrow and finish the video tomorrow. I'm not sure yet. It's all going to depend on how everything dries. So I'm going to go ahead and get this stirred up in the gun, and we're going to go out there and put this black on. That looks like it's all it's going to need. Like I said, this stuff covers really well. And it's the back side of a sign. We don't need to go putting on a bunch of thickness of material on something that nobody's ever going to see. But you just want to make sure it's nice. So now I have extra color. It does have reducer in it, but I can put it back in the gallon. Just have to once you've done this for long enough, when you go to pour out of the gallon again and you've put some extra paint in there with some reducer, if it starts to feel a little bit thinner, you'll know to put in a little bit less reducer. But this stuff's pretty thick, so I'm not too worried about it. I don't really buy expensive black paint because to me, black is black. Yes, now, yeah, you can get black paint that's not exactly black and it'll look brown in the sun. So you do have to watch that. There are some blacks that will look brown in the sun. But like this is a high-tech paint. I think I bought it off of eBay. There's $100 and maybe $200 a gallon. It's just basically factory black paint, and that's all I use for a lot of things. Like I'm going to be painting those motorcycle parts black. We'll use this black. I don't use this black to touch up a black car. I obviously have paint mixed up the right paint color for the car because, believe it or not, there are a ton of different color blacks. You'll have to the brown side, you'll have to the blue side. I think there's even like yellowish a little bit So, but for overall just painting parts here and there, this is a really good black, and you don't need to spend a ton of money on it because it doesn't have to match anything. We're just making stuff black. And this does not have a brownish tint to it, which is nice. The part number is HFP 250. So if anybody is interested in getting some of that, that's what it is. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop this for now. I'm gonna eat dinner, let this dry for a good hour, come back, we'll tape it off. We're actually gonna lay it flat onto a stand after that. And so we'll tape off the back side, we'll lay it flat on a stand, and then we'll put our white on the lettering, let that dry again, tape that off, put our blue on. Once the blue is set up, we can untape everything, hang it back up, and clear it. Hopefully I get it done tonight, but we'll see what happens. Okay, now I'm going to get this taped off. Now, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to waste some tape because I really need to tape over the letters. If I just tape this perimeter and put paper, the overspray from the other side is just gonna blow behind the paper and get all over the black. So basically what I need to do is everywhere there's lettering or an image, I need to tape over it. And then I'm gonna have to get some paper and put it over the rest of it. So I'm gonna go through a ton of tape, unfortunately. So I might just end up having to tape the whole thing. Might just be easier than even dealing with the paper. So you just take your time and get a nice radius around the outer edge. Basically, just have to tape it up now. Make sure you push it down really good. At least it goes quickly. This is inch and a half wide tape. Obviously, if you had 2 inch, it would go even faster. Okay, now we're just going to make sure to push down really well. We'll tack cloth this off before we put the white. And the white is going right here, just the letters on the outer perimeter and the star, and then everything in the middle, and all the other, these two bands right here are going to be a bluish color. I tried to match the blue as close to what he used when he tried to do it with the spray can. Okay, so let's get some white mixed up. We're just going to use a GM Olympic white, which is their most popular white that they use for all their pickup trucks, vans, and stuff like that. We didn't really use that much tape. That wasn't a completely full roll when I started. But I am going to have to use more to cover up the white in an hour from now. It's 8 o'clock right now. So by 9 o'clock, I could put the blue on, then wait 20 minutes, 30 minutes at the most, untape everything, hang it, and we can put 2 coats of satin clear over top. So I think I'll get it done tonight. I mean, I'm just gonna basically kind of just sit down and watch some YouTube or something while I'm waiting for this white to set up. Because you gotta let this stuff set. You know, you gotta give it a good hour. It says you can tape it in 45 minutes, but I always give it a good hour. I actually gave that black about an hour and a half. I'll probably give this a good hour, maybe a little bit longer. And once again, keep in mind when you're doing multiple colors like this, try not to load your paint on. Don't go putting on real heavy coats and really thick coats, because that's all that's going to do is take longer to dry, and you don't need it. I mean, this is going to be a satin finish. These are all solid colors. They're non-metallic colors, so we don't need to blow a bunch of paint on there and waste it and just cause it longer to dry. Once again, this is a 1-to-1 mix. This is actually PPG Omni Plus. This is their middle of the road line. They have Omni, they have Omni Plus, and then they have DBC. So this is the middle of the road. So this actually covers pretty darn good. I gotta get my spray gun out and get this set up. And let's go out there and we will paint the white. And then it'll be waiting again. Forgot my tack cloth. I'm doing is I'm going both directions so that I get the edges of the letters. And also, I forgot to mention, when I was mixing this, I actually mixed it a little bit under reduced. What that does is gets it to dry a little bit quicker. Okay, now it's just gonna sit here, dry for 45 minutes to an hour. We'll come in, run a couple strips of tape to cover up the white, and then we'll put our blue on. Once again, we'll do the blue in thin layers. So I try to match as closely as I could to a spray can that they use. So what I did was I had some blue. I had some of this blue mixed up that was left over from some job. I don't remember what it was. But so what I did was I added some hunter green base coat, non-metallic hunter green, to this blue, and I came up with this color. So you can see the difference. This has a little bit more of a greenish tint to it. This is pretty much about what the color was that they used for spray paint. This is more of like a tropical color, I would say, versus this blue here. So you can see the difference. I don't know if you can see it on the camera or not, but it's definitely greener than what it was. So that's ready to go. That white we just sprayed is what I'm going to use on that dually that I'm going to be starting to paint this coming up weekend. I'm going to use that white base coat underneath the GM Pearl white, the mid coat, the pearl coat. We like that white better than the whites that come with the pearl. So he's getting a gallon of that Olympic white and then a gallon of the pearl. So next weekend I plan on getting the bed, tailgate, wheel flares, and the tonneau cover painted for the dually. And also I need to have the station wagon out of here this week. This sign needs to be gone this week. I have running boards that need to be done this week, and then I have to start getting some of those motorcycles parts painted, hopefully by this weekend, so that the first batch of parts can leave, the black parts that need to get painted. So I got a lot to get done this week. Not enough time as usual, but I'll get it done one way or another. So I'm gonna go in, watch some YouTube for a little bit, come back out, and we'll tape that off and put the blue on. Okay, it's been an hour. Now I could tape the white off. Now this is gonna get a little tricky. I'm gonna tape this, maybe not. That's not really sticky anymore because of the paint. I was thinking that the two pieces of tape are really gonna stick together and be a pain in the butt to take apart, but maybe I'll get lucky because there's paint on it. So I have a roll of 3/4 inch. I'm gonna use that for the outer and inner perimeter, and then we'll use the 2 inch for the center. Because the reason why I want to use this size is I can follow the contour better with the 3/4, and it'll bend more than the 1.5 inch will. You got to kind of pull it tight when you're doing it too. This tape line makes up the bottom of the letters, so you gotta kind of get it on there good. Like I said, just keep tension on that tape. It's the best thing you could do to get a straight line and to get it to bend. Okay, there's our inside. Go around and make sure it's pushed down really well. Now we got to hit the outside. Same thing again. Once the blue goes on and we untape it, you'll actually be able to read this sign a lot better. Originally it was just all blue. I've been leaving the camera running so you guys can see how long it actually takes to tape it off. All right, that's it. Now we can put the blue on. Which that should go on pretty quickly. This is just pretty much gray and white that we're going over. So that blue should pretty much cover pretty quickly, I would think. Once again, it's a 1-to-1 mix. That is Deltron, that is DVC. That's a good PPG's best paint. So it's the thickest. You know what? I think I'm going to use, just use a big cup's fine. Just going to use a little cup, but we'll just stick with the big ones. That's the good thing about having leftover paint is you can kind of custom mix colors if you're just doing a small project like this. All right, we get this on the gun and we'll get out there and get this blue on. That's all it needs. It might look like I put a lot on, but I didn't. I was only holding the trigger partially open. I was not, the trigger was not opened all the way. So it looked a lot more than it was. So that's it. That's all this needs. You can see how quick this covered. I knew it was going to cover quick because for the most part it had white on it and there was just a little bit of gray in the center, but that gray and the white, I knew this color would cover quick over it. We're actually filling this thing all the way up. Oh, we got plenty of this left for anything else in the future. So I'm going to go ahead and get the gun cleaned out. Clean up this mess I just made. And then about 20 minutes we should be able to untape that. because now we don't have to wait as long because we're not going to be taping on the blue. So about 20 minutes, we should be able to untape it. All right, let's go ahead and see if we can get the front untaped. It's only been like 10 minutes, but I can touch it, so I think we'll be all right. Kind of just take some of this back off so that I can hang it up and then peel the rest off. Okay, let's hang it up. Then we can peel the rest of the back off. Little bit of bleed through, but not too bad. I mean, there's only so much you can do. Let's see if it'll wipe off at all. Grab some wax and grease remover because sometimes that'll take it off as well. Now on the front, I noticed that one spot had a little bit of blue on it, which was this L right here. It has a tiny little bit of blue right there. Let's see if the wax and grease remover will take that off as well. Let me go grab some, I'll be right back. I'm using a white towel rather than a blue towel, because a blue towel could potentially make the white paint have a bluish tint to it because of the towel itself. Got it off. So that is off now. So then these couple little spots on the back here, which, like I said, I'm not going to get too carried away with it. But there's a little bit of white bleed through here. Actually, it looks like quite a bit of it comes off. It's actually, for the most part, it's coming off. Okay, oh boy. Sorry about that. We're going to get some clear mixed up, put 2 light coats of clear on it, and this project will be done. But yeah, you can use wax and grease remover to get slight overspray off of things before you clear it, if you're careful. I already have a sleeve in here. So we're going to use this Summit Clear, the Hot Rod Satin Clear. So 4-to-1 mix, we're going to add 20% reducer just to thin it out a little bit. Now, I'm not going to go putting it on super heavy. We just need to get a good coverage on it, and that's it. It should be enough for 2 light coats, what I have here. All right, I'm going to do, once again, get this set up in the gun. And we will go out there and put a coat on, let it set for 10 minutes, and put the last coat on. Now, I can't stress this enough. Don't take your tack rag, wipe the blue and then the white, because you can take blue residue and put it on the white paint. I'm just getting some of the big areas because I saw a piece or 2 of lint, so I just wanted to get those off the center. Okay, I'm going to give that about 10 minutes and we'll put the last coat on. Once it starts dulling up, it'll be ready for the next coat. I actually think it would look pretty cool shiny, but he wanted satin. To me, shiny would remind me more of water, you know what I mean? Like, it would look a little bit more beachy in my opinion, because it would have like a little bit of a, you know, a shine to it, like a glisten almost, you know, in the sunlight. But it's what he wants, so that's what he gets. So I will be back and we will throw that other coat on here shortly. Oh, another thing, I don't know if I ever told you guys this or showed you guys this, but if you're doing a real intricate paint job and you have to wait certain amounts of time between coats and stuff like that, and you find yourself rushing because you're just impatient or you want to try to get the job done quicker, get yourself an egg timer, and you can set it to however long you need. Say you need to let it set for 45 minutes. Turn it to 45 minutes. In 45 minutes, this bell is going to ring. When it rings, you're ready to go. But it kind of gives you like the exact time of when you stopped with your last coat of paint. So after I got done with my last coat of blue, for instance, if I dialed that to 15-20 minutes, when the bell went off, I knew it was 15-20 minutes. Sometimes you might waste a couple minutes before you look at your clock, you know what I mean, and not have the exact time that you need. So that's something cheap you can buy on Amazon, Walmart, wherever. Let's look at this real quick. It's only been a couple minutes, but I want to show you how it still has a little bit of a sheen to it. Okay, we want to let it dry until it is all the same sheen. So if you have a spot that's dull here and shiny over here, you have to wait, because if you don't, that's what causes blotchiness in satin clear. But you can see how this white and blue, how it kind of really makes it stand out now. You can really read it. Okay, it's been about 15 minutes. It's starting to dull up. You can see it's just got a little bit of a sheen left, and that's pretty much how we wanted it. Just a nice satin finish. Turned out really nice. Let it dry overnight. He can pick it up tomorrow. I don't have the heat going. It's 70 degrees out. It's plenty hot enough. But other than that, guys, that's another project finished and out of here. So tomorrow I'll be back on the wagon, and also those running boards that I've been working on that I got to get done this week as well. Those are, I primered these when I primered the wagon today. So these probably need a little bit more attention. So what this was these had rhino liner on them. Whoever installed the rhino liner on them ground the aluminum with a grinder and left grinding marks everywhere in it. And what happened was salt and stuff got underneath the rhino liner and just completely like oxidized the aluminum. So I had to strip all that off, sand it down, epoxy primer it, and then 2K primer it. And I 2K primered it, and then when I got done with that, it was pretty ripply, and you can still see some ripples in it now. Hard to see on the camera, but there are still some ripples. So I'm gonna have to sand these down again, probably tomorrow or the day after, and then probably primer them one more time. And then these are just getting painted black. I'm not sure if they're getting gloss black or satin black, but maybe I'll video it, maybe I won't. It's really nothing special with that. But main thing is getting this painted this week, so this weekend I can work on painting those dually parts. So thanks for watching, guys. I will see you guys tomorrow.